Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka BatBomb82, and man, 2021 was a great year for Mezco, and here are my top 10 figures. It was really hard putting this list together as we got some amazing drops, but before I run down the top 10, I want to show a few runner-ups. So the first runner-up is a figure that I feel that is worth talking about. It is the modern Wonder Woman. Now, as we all know, Mezco doesn't really do female figures all that great. They've desperately needed new bucks, and this Wonder Woman is so badass. I absolutely love the articulation on here. It's so much better. The sculpt is great. The paint is gorgeous. I love all her weapons, and I love the extra armor bits that they gave her. She truly is the best female Mezco figure that they have made in the 112 collective. Though I know that's not saying much, she's still an amazing piece to have in your collection. Another runner-up is the Holiday Gomez. Now again, I know this figure is not for everyone, but I am a sucker for a Gomez figure, and man, I love the fact that we finally got a Christmas-themed Gomez. That is something I've been wanting for a few years now, and we finally got it, and he's really fun. I totally get why people don't like it. He's not the coolest one out there, but for me, who loves a really nerdy Christmas display, this fits in perfectly with my collection, so much so that I bought two. Him and both Cousin Eddie are really badass, and I love him. They just make for really fun toys around the holidays, and I think that's really cool for Mezco to do. And just narrowly missing out on the top 10 is the Mezco 112 Collective Thanos. Man, this guy is big, beefy, and really impressive. I absolutely love the soft goods. How Mezco does their own original Mezco-fying of these suits is really cool to someone like me. I think the head sculpts are amazing, definitely some of the best that Mezco has ever done. I love the fact that we get an infinity gauntlet that actually lights up. It's a little awkward in some areas, especially with the articulation. I wish it could be better, but that's kind of a natural thing just when it comes to big, bulkier characters. So that's something that's really hard to avoid. But still, I love him so much. He really does stand out as something special on the shelf. And he's just a really cool figure, man. I love Thanos, and I love that Mezco actually put him out there.
Number 10.
Starting off at number 10, I'm giving it to the Black Skull's Death Brigade. Now you may be asking, why of all figures is this one in the top 10? Well, yes, he's very basic when it comes to soft goods, his gear. This is the 30th figure we've seen with the skull. I totally get all that. But what I do love about him is that he is easily one of the most accessible figures you can possibly find, definitely on the cheaper end. Unlike the White Skull Agent, which was a limited figure and almost impossible to find now. But I also love the fact, and this is the main reason I put him in the top 10, he's easily one of the most customizable figures out there. Being that he has a very basic look to him, you can pretty much add things to this guy and he'll still look even more awesome. Pop on a different head and he'll look like a completely different character. And I love that about this figure. You can army build him very easily and you can do all kinds of cool things with him. That's why the Black Skull's Death Brigade starts off this top 10 list.
Number 9.
Now at number 9, I'm giving it to Two-Face. Now I absolutely love this figure. The sculpts alone were amazing. I really dug that. His weapons had this kind of duality to them, which I thought was really cool and unique. He even has coin flipping effects, which I think is really awesome. But I absolutely love the tailoring of the suit. It is definitely one of the best tailored suits that I've seen from this line, which is really cool. But I also love the buck. The body of this figure is something that is definitely an upgrade. whereas beforehand we were getting those old Joker bucks, which some people liked and some people didn't, but they were very limited when it came to articulation. Now this new buck that they started using with Two-Face really amps things up and it's so much better. He's such a great piece, definitely one of my favorite DC villains, and I think he is definitely one of the coolest figures to be released in 2021.
Number 8.
Now at number 8, I'm giving it to the Pale Driver's White Krieg. Now it was really hard to pick as I actually genuinely love all the Krieg, so you could technically put them all in this number 8 spot. But for me, the Pale Driver's White version is easily the coolest. It really stands out compared to the other two that we've gotten so far. The combination of the black and white really stand out, make him look cool. You can really see the amazing sculpt that they gave this figure. I also love the fact that he kind of looks like a stormtrooper, which is really interesting. I'm still a little iffy about those unmasked or unhelmeted blue heads. They're still a little weird, but man, when you have him all suited up with his gear, he just looks so badass, especially lined up with the other Krieg. I'm just so happy that we even got this piece. It's something very unique, and it really gets me excited for the Murder Hornets yellow version that I hope to get next year.
Number 7.
Next up at number 7, I'm giving it to Iron Fist. Man, I love this figure. First of all, I always loved the Iron Fist character. I think Mezco did an amazing job with the soft goods. One thing I really like to note is the fact that when we first saw this figure, he didn't have his yellow sash, and the fans really spoke out against that, and they turned around and gave us the yellow sash anyways, and it makes it look so much better. So I'm always stoked when Mezco listens to the fans and they actually do something about it to make it right, and they did that with this figure. The articulation also works very well. I love all the interchangeable parts. His weapons are really, really nice. But I really dig his fire effect features. Those are so imperative for the character. He really needs awesome ones, especially that really cool flaming dragon effect, which I think is totally rad. Man, this is such a fun piece. I am so stoked we even got Iron Fist in this line. Fingers crossed for a Nick Cage down the future, because I would love to have the duo.
Number 6.
Now at number 6, I'm giving it to Red Death Doc Nocturnal. Man, I love this piece. Now I totally love the original Doc Nock that we got beforehand, but something about this version just stands out to me. I think it might be the red. It really pops on the shelf, and when I look at my shelf, I see that Red Death version, and he just looks so freaking cool. I love the head sculpts that we got. Always love the different skulls, especially the glow-in-the-dark one. But I also love the fact that we got new accessories, things like that doctor's mask, the harness, the katana. All these things make him feel very, very special. I always loved his soft goods with that webbing pattern. Even in the sculpted things like the gloves and the belt all have that webbing pattern. Are just super cool to me. I really dig this character. I hope we do get another version of him because I think he's really rad. I just love this piece so, so much. But man, for me, he was a definite upgrade from that previous version.
Number 5.
Kicking off the top 5, I'm giving it to Dr. Fate. Now, Dr. Fate is one of my all-time favorite DC characters, and for me, he's my favorite magical type of sorcerer character in all of comic books, and I was so happy when Mezco made him. What I love the fact is that they kept the suit itself, the soft goods, fairly simple, which a lot of people aren't used to. You know, we're used to Mezco doing that Mezcification of different suits, which I totally get and I personally love. But they kept the suit basic itself, and the armor bits are totally Mezcified, but still he has an overall very classic comic book look to him while looking upgraded, and again, in that Mezco style. I love the different effect piece, which is something new. They're trying different things here, which I do appreciate. He also has an LED feature to light up in his helmet to make the eyes glow. I think that's so awesome, man. I'm just stoked that we even got Dr. Fate in this line. He's so good, he's so much fun, and an integral piece for your DC Mezco collection.
Number 4.
Moving on to number 4, I'm giving it to Hazard Squad Gomez. Now man, this whole set was very impressive. The box itself turns into a diorama for you. That's really cool. complete with a weapons rack with a ton of extra weapons. We got a communication chamber. We got a screen that you can actually change what's on the screen. I mean, that's just something that's really cool to me, and I love that Mezco did that. That whole dial was on my shelf. But the figure itself is a Gomez figure, which I love. Again, he's not for everybody, but he's for people like me. He definitely has some of the best articulation ever in this line, which is really cool. And man, he has so many cool accessories. It is insane. We got a new Boom Boom with a little more of a classic feel, which I really dig. But that gauntlet is something special. Having interchangeable parts like a grapple hook, the hologram screen, I mean, just so many things. That's so cool to me. This was a very different Gomez, which I really love. We even got a second gold version. Now again, you can interchange these two when it comes to the spot here, but for me, the blue original version is the best version.
Number 3.
Now, starting off the top 3, I'm giving it to Secret Agent Gomez. Now, yeah, it's another Gomez, but man, I cannot help how much I love this piece. He has shades, which is super cool, something I never thought we'd see on a Gomez figure. He has a ton of new accessories and weapons, which I absolutely love. His little wristwatch has fire, poison, I mean, all kinds of different attachments. We get new guns. We get a modern Boom Boom that also doubles as storage and a rocket launcher. That's amazing, man. He comes in a freaking awesome tuxedo looking super slick. I mean, I just love this piece. But the best thing for me is that new hoverboard. Oh my god, that thing is super impressive with spinning blades, different types of attachments from machine guns to rocket launchers to thrusters. I mean, that is an impressive hoverboard, probably the coolest hoverboard I've ever seen. This whole thing is a definite upgrade from previous Gomez figures, and I love him. For me, he is the best Gomez figure of 2021.
Number 2.
By Crom at number 2, I'm giving it to Conan the Barbarian. Now, I know this wasn't for everyone, and yeah, he's kind of a hard piece to get now, which is kind of weird. But he is such a beautiful action figure. Easily some of my favorite accessories that I've seen in this line. The detail on his shield, his swords, all of his attachments are just so cool and so beautifully done. Some of the best sculpting, some of the best paint. I love the soft goods that he does have. He even has an actual chainmail skirt piece made of actual chain links, which is super impressive to me. The sculpt of the body is entirely new with all the scarring, all that wash to make it darken him up and making him look dirty. It's just really badass. I mean, Frazetta is definitely one of the best artists for me in my opinion, and I love that fact that Mezco captured him perfectly in this line. I do have a couple issues with him, like the articulation could be a tiny bit better, and I do wish we got the original cape that we saw, but still, he is a badass piece. Easily my favorite Conan figure that I've ever owned, and that's why he earns the spot of number 2.
Number one.
Taking the top spot, I'm giving it to Vapor Burner Edition. Now man, I absolutely love the first release of Vapor. As an artist myself, I completely appreciated the existence of that figure and everything Mezco did with it. But something about this Burner Edition makes it feel so special. The combinations of that white and black that I know Mezco likes to do really hits hard with this particular figure. Again, the all-white skin, the white flocking for the hair is really cool to me. I love his soft goods, from the shirt to the pants to the interchangeable jacket and hoodie and everything else we got. Things like the headphones, the backpack, all his different spray cans and markers and sketchbook, and just everything that we got with this piece is impressive. I am so happy that Mezco even made a figure like this. And hey, he even came with an actual hat that you can actually wear. I think that's pretty cool. I cannot wait for the other Hoods figures because I want the whole crew in any flavor they will give them to us. This Burner edition of Vapor is super impressive. super beautiful, and in my opinion, a total work of art. That's why he gets the top spot for 2021. So there it is, guys. My top 10 Mezco 112 collective action figures of 2021. Now, do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? Are there figures that I possibly missed? Do you think other figures should have been on this list? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Either way, it was a great year for this line. It is my favorite action figure line, and I love every piece that we get. That's why every year this list is so incredibly hard for me to put together. Each piece for me is a work of art and just makes for a great display piece. But all of these I adore. Every figure in this line is special to me, and I hope you guys have an amazing new year, and I cannot wait to see what Mezco brings us in 2022. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.